Europe as Europe is a hugely important project for all of us, because it's also the fundamental question: are we relevant in the world? How do we benefit from being part and playing our part in our own environment in terms of how we further construct Europe? I think it's important that we recognize the importance of the political leadership and the vote of confidence what we need to have as industrialists, and the environment what we need to have to flourish. And that the centerpiece of all of it, I think, is the competitiveness of Europe. When we talk about one agenda which is paramount in Europe, it is the competitiveness agenda of Europe. We are the most important and largest single market in the world. Economically speaking, and from a relevance perspective in the world, Europe is competitive, is relevant, and is a leader in the global economy. So the real question when we talk about competitiveness is, how do we stay relevant? Obviously, diversity and how do we integrate our cultures in our own context of Europe is something which is at the heart of the European project. We cannot stay as we are. It is absolutely clear that the European monetary project, without any further integration, politically speaking, in Europe, is unsustainable. The limiting factor of Europe, of our competitiveness and relevance as European companies, are people, are talents. We have 500 people today in Europe. We will have 450 million in 2050. So we are living in a continent with a decreasing population. The only way how we will be able to strongly thrive in the global communities is obviously through innovation. So the agenda of how do we further innovate, how do we build the markets of the futures, how do we make sure that we actually are really living up to the potentials what we have. It is, do we find the right talents in Europe? Are we able to attract as many as we can find from your population here? And are you interested, as generations have been before, in really making sure that science and engineering is actually sexy, is something what you want to do, is something what you're interested in? Because one of the key problems what we have in Europe is that a generation is retiring where we have a certain number of scientists, leading scientists in business, in government institutions, in big research institutions, but we don't have enough young people inspired to go down the path to precisely do exactly the same thing. Of 100,000 25 to 34 years old employed in the EU, only 298 of 100,000 have a degree in science and engineering. And on the other side, we faced a huge problem in some parts of Europe where we have to provide hope for the young people. No society can strive and build and create a future if the young people are not the drivers of hope. We also need qualified immigrants in Europe. This is also part of the answer. So qualifications, and this is also a great difference when you compare in terms of how immigration flows are looking around the world. 5% of the immigrants immigrating to Europe have qualifications. 55% immigrating to the United States have qualifications. So for me, the most important thing in terms of what Europe must be if we want to stay relevant, we must stay relevant in educating the best people in Europe for the industrial base of our companies. What has to be done in terms of transforming innovations to marketable products. We need entrepreneurs. We need much more family-owned businesses. We need SMEs. We need to flourish, not just looking into the big juggernauts. And indeed, I'm representing one of it. And Siemens is relevant to Europe and to many societies we're operating in. But when it comes to incremental employment, when it comes to where and how ideas have to flourish, we have to build much more young companies in Europe.